Test Drive with Graeme Fletcher.
This week on Test Drive we look at the Buick Skylark. Now this is one of GM's N bodies, and along with the Oldsmobile Achiever and Pontiac Grand Am, all three have been totally reworked and restyled for 1992. Buick designers suggest that new Skylark's styling will attract younger buyers into their showrooms. That may well be true because the rear three-quarter and side profiles are actually quite attractive. But the front end, well, that's another thing. It reminded me of Pinocchio's nose because it seemed to grow, and I don't mean on you. Inside, the Skylark is tastefully attired, and the larger dimensions make the car seem relatively roomy. Especially in the rear, where you'll find reasonable headroom and generous legroom. The rear seat will accommodate two in comfort. GM get a gold star for the handy dual coffee cup holders back there. Up front, the passengers are treated to a set of well-contoured and comfortable seats. The instrumentation is complete and analog, the only problem being that because of the width, the two gauges at the extremities are hidden by the steering wheel rim. Aside from that, no complaints. GM get a second gold star for dispensing with their overly complicated smart stalk in favour of two separate stalks, one for the lights and turn signals, the other for the wiper functions. The centre section of the dash is dominated by the radio and climate controls. The latter, despite being of the rotary variety, are easy to operate and fall readily to hand. The trunk on the Skylark is huge for a car of this size. It features a nice low liftover and a 60-40 split folding rear seats improve versatility. The fact that there is no security lock for either the seat backs or the trunk release disappointed me. The Skylark features Buick's Command Ride Control suspension. It is driver adjustable, featuring three different modes. On the skid pad, the soft mode proved to be far too soft. The auto mode took too long to change from soft to firm. By the time it does change, the reason for the change is long gone. The firm mode, however, is near perfect. It is comfortable and compliant whilst managing to provide controlled handling. The soft mode, however, is not without its uses because with 3 or 4 adults in the car, it does help the highway ride. One of the things on the Skylark that bothered me was the fact they've mounted the seatbelt right to the door frame. Now what that does, it increases the width of the B-pillar such that it introduces quite a large blind spot. The other thing that several people asked me about was what happens if the door bursts open in the event of an accident. You've lost the seatbelt to retain you. Well, GM have addressed that particular situation by adding this little piece of hardware. It's designed to stop the door from bursting open in a frontal impact. Under the hood is a new engine dubbed the Quad 4 overhead cam, one of GM's Quad 4 motors. During the design process, they managed to dump the EGR valve and PCV valve and added direct ignition. The result is that aside from fuel, oil and air filters and the odd set of spark plugs, there is no maintenance required for the first 100,000 miles. Power output is rated at 120 horses and 140 pounds-feet of torque. Reasonable numbers that mean reasonable performance. On the skid pad, we required 10 seconds to reach the 100k mark. Out on the road, the engine has a tendency to become noisy when operated above 3,000 RPM, which unfortunately means it's noisy most of the time. Matched with this engine is a 3-speed automatic. The shifts are always smooth and well coordinated. Stopping power is supplied by GM's own Delco ABS 6 system. As I mentioned during the Saturn test, this system works extremely well. Throw the anchor out and the vehicle stops in a very respectable 117 feet from 80k. The pedal has a good feel, and during some very wet weather, the system ensured stable stops. Even when I was forced to jump on the binders mid-corner, the car behaved itself very well. My pet peeve on the Skylark is a very simple one, but it's the type that gets under your skin right from the word go. This car features automatic door locks. And unlike most systems, when you return back to park, it doesn't unlock the door locks. Now picture this for a scenario. You get into the car, start it up, put it into drive, and remember you've forgotten something. Back into park, you got to get out, nothing happens. You've got to manually unlock the doors. Now why they adopted that strategy is beyond me. It's dumb. Anyway, now to the scoreboard for a rundown on the 1992 Buick Skylark. The new 120-horse Quad OHC engine provides reasonable performance for the most part, but anyone taking a serious look at this car should invest in the wonderful 3300 V6 offered. For the record, we required 10 seconds to accelerate to 100 kilometers an hour. The driver-adjustable Grand Touring suspension gives the Skylark superior handling characteristics. Generally speaking, the soft and auto modes are redundant, primarily because the firm mode is so good. The standard Delco ABS6 system employed on the car provided flawless stops on demand. The pedal is easy to modulate, meaning you can derive the best effort from the brakes without actually activating the anti-lock system. For a compact car, the Skylark provides a high degree of comfort. The only item that upsets the apple cart is the amount of engine noise during hard acceleration. We averaged a commendable 28 miles per gallon or 10 litres per 100 kilometres during the test. The high and low figures were 35 miles per gallon and 21 miles per gallon respectively. The new Skylark represents a marked improvement over its predecessor. It's roomier, more comfortable, boasts better handling characteristics, and when equipped with a 3300 V6 is a real mover.
So here's the question, where were you 32 years ago? I know some of you weren't even a glint in your father's eye. As for me, well, I was in diapers but found time to get Motoring TV off the ground. And today I like to think we've got one of the best automotive video libraries in the world. If you agree, please give us the thumbs up and also subscribe. We'd really appreciate it.